Okay, let's get it started. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. At this point, I should be introducing myself because why have I been gone for so long? I don't know. Okay, but anyway. My name is Precious Notiko. Here we talk all things academics, careers, and wellness. Guys, I am so sorry. From the most bottom part of my heart, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for missing in action and not telling you guys where I've been. I'm really sorry. But anyway, we're here. Thank you so much to each and every person who has reached out to me, either on Instagram or LinkedIn or even WhatsApp, asking me to come back to YouTube. And you know, there was a point where I was like, do I actually want to come back? And then I would receive, every time I think that, I would receive a DM from someone saying that the channel has impacted them in such a way. I would probably like put up some screenshots because guys, honestly, your DMs, your messages of encouragement for me to come back to the channel is the reason why we are making this video. And I'm really grateful to each and every one of you guys. So without further ado, as you guys have seen from the title of today's video, we're going to be taking stock. Okay, we're going to be reviewing the last 6 months, or the first 6 months really, of my CIMA training, and talking about some of the things that I've learned, things that I will do differently in my next rotation, and like where are we, where to from here, all those good things. Okay, so first of all, as you guys might have seen the video where I was talking about feeling imposter syndrome, feeling month-end anxiety, and all those things, I'm glad to report that my mental health is in a good place right now. So we are not there anymore. Thank God. Thank God, truly, because God has carried me through from that time to where we are now. My first rotation was in accounting control. So accounting control is a support function within the bank. I'm allocated certain teams that I post journals for, and then also do month-end reconciliations of certain teams, right? So that's basically, in a nutshell, the team that I was in. I joined the team on the 8th of February 2024. Right now it's July, so it's been about 6 months in the rotation. Our rotations are 6 months, so this is my last month in this rotation. Honey, when I tell you I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm all those things. Yeah, it's been a journey. I remember the first month, I think I told you guys I had a breakdown because I was like, what is happening? What do you mean reconciliation? What am I actually doing? Not understanding the system. The volume of the work was just a lot, and then you have deadlines, and it was very overwhelming, to say the very least. And I think there was just so much going on, so many changes happening at once, and I was just like not ready. Okay, yeah, I was just like not in a good space. In the first 2 month ends, they were very overwhelming, but you know, slowly but surely started getting my feet. And then one thing I realized was month end. I remember after posting that video, a lot of you guys commented, and someone suggested that how about I prepare, like, you see, I have 2 weeks of very hectic deadlines and 2 weeks off. Not 2 weeks off as in I'm not working or I'm not going to work, but it's a bit chilled, like it's a little more chilled than the other 2 weeks. So month end is usually very hectic, and then you kind of towards like there around middle of the month, towards the end of the month, you are good, and then at the beginning of the month you start again. So someone suggested how about I actually prepare for month end during that 2 weeks off, and basically prepare myself for that time. And that was really great advice, which is something that I was very intentional about doing. So one of the things that I did to ensure that I do not have month-end anxiety month to month, because I mean, you can't survive on anxiety. Like at some point you're going to break down. So what I did was to create a document, basically like a handover document that I wish I had received at the beginning, detailing everything that I do, all the journals that I post, how to post, why I post, where is it going, kind of like having a manual of some sort of the role that I'm in. So during off month end, I would sit with my manager and record myself on Teams, record my screen basically, and ask him to take me through this stuff while I'm recording it. Because I realized that taking notes for me, it just doesn't work. I look at my notes and I'm like, I don't even know what I was trying to say to myself. So I decided, you know what, notes are just not gonna work for me. So how about we record, and then I record the session, I save the recording, and then afterwards I'm going to then go back to my document and actually make notes and say, okay, these are the steps that you take, this is what you do, this is what you should be aware of. And that helped me so much, because I realized that I learned faster like that. Now that I'm going to be handing over my role to the next trainee, I'm going to basically be giving them that document and giving them something that I wish I was given at the beginning of my rotation. And another thing that I realized was informing my people that month end is tough and I need extra love. Like I literally say it like that. I tell my friend, I tell my mom, I'm just like, okay, month end is coming, so I need you to give me a bit extra space, like for me to just cry, like check on me, okay? So that really helped, I think, especially in the April, May month end, knowing that there are people who are aware that I am in a stressful season, but stressful period in the month, and giving me that extra bit of love, you know, checking on me and making sure that I'm okay. So putting those things in place definitely worked on that anxiety. And another thing that I've learned is to seek feedback. I used to be afraid of asking my manager, how am I doing? And the reason for that is I think I was scared of hearing that I'm not doing well and what that would mean for me. And already I'm feeling like I'm not doing well. So if my manager picks it up, then I'm just like, okay, and then I'm terrible. So I just did not want to seek feedback. The process owner of the recon team, basically like the head of the recon team, we had a catch-up session, and he's more straightforward. He's more like, okay, you're not doing well in this, you're doing well in this. Like he is one of those people who will give you very critical feedback, but constructive feedback as well. So we had that conversation, and he asked me if I do seek that feedback from my manager regularly. And I told him that I was afraid of, you know, like how it will reflect, and said, this is something that you need to mature in, that you need to ask for feedback and learn how to take feedback for what it is. It is not a reflection of you as an employee, as a person. It's just a reflection of your work. Like for example, if you are just not producing quality recons, it doesn't mean that you're bad at your job. You're just not producing quality recons. You get what I mean? So after that sit down, I was like, okay, let's be more intentional, face my fears. And I started seeking feedback from my manager. And I also realized that you can seek feedback from different people. It doesn't have to be your line manager, because I think I was very tunnel visioned. Okay, I report to him, so he's the one that I talk to the most. After that catch up, I kind of spread my wings a bit, and I asked a few people that I work with in the team, like, okay, how is this going? How am I doing in this? How am I doing in this? And you get to realize that different people will give you different feedback. There are those who are trying to, you know, nurse your feelings a little bit. There are those who are very straight to the point, and you learn how to take all of it and take it in a positive way, right? And after doing that, honestly, I think that I became a bit more intentional now about having catch-up sessions. So I used to wait for my manager to like approach me and be like, oh Precious, let's have a catch-up. So now I'm like, okay, I initiate those and I'm like, okay, here's what I think I am still struggling with, here's what I've learned, and what do you think, okay, like how do you see it? Because I also realized that my reflection of myself is not necessarily an objective one. It is not objective at all, because I see myself through the lens of my own eyes, right? Where else someone else could be seeing me differently. So sometimes I am a bit too hard on myself. So being able to get that feedback from someone who's actually overlooking is amazing.
Guys, I got a couch. We got a couch, which is so cool. We finally have a couch in this house. But anyway, I digress. Where was I?
Okay, so another thing that I have learned, so I remember during induction when they were telling us about building connections, making sure that you build relationships, to me that sounded very intimidating, because I was like, in a way I am an ambivert. I'm not a people's person. I wouldn't describe myself as a people's person. I do love people, but sometimes I withdraw and I'm just like, I don't always, we have to click for us to have a conversation on the spot. So how am I going to do that? And I remember that I used to put a lot of pressure on myself that I need to meet the right people who are going to speak about me when I'm not in the room, decision makers essentially, who are going to basically talk about me when I'm not in the room. So what impression am I giving them? You know, those kind of things. And that was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And then I spoke to my career coach. So we are assigned a career coach that we meet with monthly. And she said to me, lead with authenticity and natural curiosity instead of, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do that. And that has helped me to not see this thing of building relationships as work, but rather just wanting to connect with people. Like, there's so many interesting people who are doing interesting work, and I'm just like, you know, every now and then I'll just go to a colleague and ask them what they're up to, and people love talking about themselves and you actually learn a lot by just being curious, being authentic in wanting to build those relationships. And this is something that I've learned, that I'm actually not as bad as I thought I would be when it comes to networking. I actually can hold a conversation with a colleague that I'm not necessarily working in the same space with and have a natural connection with them, which is something that's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing that I've learned to do that. Speaking of relationships, one thing that I want to ensure that I do is to keep the relationships that I've built in my current rotation as I'm moving on to my next. Because there are people who are really technically strong, there are people who have great people skills, just like the process owner of Recons. He is definitely one of those people that I want to keep contact with throughout my career, simply because I know that there's so much that I'm going to learn from him. I spoke to my mentor. I do have a mentor, like an official mentor, but I think mentorship is very dynamic, that you can get a bit of mentorship from a lot of different people. But my mentor, Tutugo Mguni, you guys might know him from one of my previous videos. So in our last in our last meetup, we spoke about that, how to sustain those relationships going forward. And he said, you know, be natural about it. There are some relationships that you just can't maintain, and that's okay. I'm going to talk to them from time to time, but you don't necessarily need to keep contact all the time. And then there are those that are going to be critical for you to be intentional about. And also moving into my next rotation, I I set up meetups with my line manager and the person that will be handing over to me, just to have a bit of an understanding of what I'll be doing in the team. So I think in that sense, I've been a bit more intentional about the kind of professional I want to be, which is someone who leads with relationships, and then the work will come next. Because there are people who are technically strong and they're going to lead with the technical aspect. For me, I think my strength is building relationships, because I think work goes better. Like, people work with people they like, you get what I mean? So like, leading with that relationship aspect, meeting with the team, getting to know them, not just the work itself, but really knowing what makes them tick. What do they like? How do they like to work? What is it that drives them? And it's something that I've learned now about my next line manager, which is something that is so cool. And I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You can just reach out to the person. If they don't want to, then okay. But most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, when you reach out to people, they do agree to those catch-ups, meetups, coffee chats, whatever you call them. What's next? Like I said, I'm moving to another team from the 1st of August. I'm moving to a different office, which I'm very happy about. Oh yes, one more update. I almost forgot this part. Last week, I started classes for my E3. So I'm back to being a student again. So I'm going to be writing my E3 in about 2 months, and I'm studying. We have classes every Wednesday for like 4 hours, which is great after a whole day of working. Amazing. So I'll be studying. I think I'll be putting in about 2 hours a day. I will try to put in about 2 hours a day towards studying. But yeah, so that's one of the interesting things that I've started. So I'm in the strategic level. As you guys know, I passed my management case study last year, and I am not doing FLP because we don't have FLP as an option as trainees in my program. So I'm doing the traditional route. I'm going to be writing the objective tests. So the plan is to write one of the objective tests this year, which is E3, and then next year I'm going to write P3 and F3, and then write my strategic case study exam in November next year. So that's the current plan. I'll take you guys along with me and just tell you guys how I am studying now compared to last year, and basically how I am balancing studying and working. I haven't started really because classes only started last week, but I will let you guys know. It's gonna be interesting. But I'm looking forward to it. I've missed studying, and I'm glad that I'm back to it. And E3 is like, let me see, I think out of the 3 modules, the 4 modules that we did in honors last year, because we had E3, F3, P3, and management case study. E3 was the 3rd highest, so, or the 2nd last if you want to look at it like that. But my highest mark was, I think, F3 was the highest, and then it was management case study, and then E3. So we'll see how it goes. Of all the exams, I don't think it's the most difficult. I've heard that P3 is quite tough. If you are from UJ, you will know PRS is just one of those. But I'm very positive. I want to pass first time around. I'm motivated, and I think I can do it. I think it's doable. We have a lot of support from the program, academically and otherwise. So I think I should be fine. But yeah, guys, I'm so happy to be back. So this the next video is going to be a vlog, like a spend a week with me vlog, and then we'll be back to regular scheduling I haven't forgotten those who are still studying, students. This is not just a careers or a corporate hand kind of channel. I'm still going to be giving you guys tips and everything, so I haven't forgotten about you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.